All right, what's up, guys? I'm about to get it in for another leg day in the pit. Sunday here. Got my man Yari straight off the boat in Jamaica. So you could tell it's he makes it a priority to be here. He just got off a plane just from his family vacation. So we're about to get into the gym, really get into a hard leg day. I'm excited. It's my favorite day of the week to train. So get myself a little juice up here. We got the Convict new orange mango. If you guys haven't tried it, it's phenomenal. Give it a try. If you have any questions, make sure you could message me or Yari. Yari loves all the questions personally. Hey guys, so check it out. A little different approach today. So usually it's loud, it's obnoxious in the pit, but today we're gonna do something a little different. I wanna take you guys into our workout, give you some informational, material on what we're doing, exercise selection, foot positioning, and why I do things the way I do. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get rolling. So first exercise I like to do is get some fluid and blood into the knees, get things rolling a little bit. So we start off with some extensions, just really working on controlling the weight, really getting a concentration in the muscle and getting everything moving before we start our compound exercises. Second workout selection, we're gonna go with some adductors to open up our hips. What this is gonna do for us is allow that hip joint to really open up when we start going into our vertical presses and more compound movements. I like to take time warming these areas up because they're like clocks, man. There's lots of parts in there, a lot of moving parts, and then when you apply all that pressure from the compound movements, it's when things pop. So I like to play it safe, not to mention these are absolutely awesome. They're neglected by a lot of people, but they're absolutely awesome for bringing in detail in lines. A lot of people don't realize, but when you're moving on stage and there's transitionary movements, that's when the lines are popping. That's what sets you apart from the next guy.
You guys who follow us training here, you see us training intense, seeing us, training crazy, but there is a method that we always follow, like Pit just said, that we always warm everything up properly, make sure we feel everything out before we start getting stupid, because at the end of the day, it's about longevity. Me currently, before I started training with him, I'm still currently nursing 2 partial quad tears. And the reason I'm still able to train is because learning from him and working around everything. You don't have to go stupid with the weight. You gotta make sure you feel the weight. Pit's really big on time under tension, keeping the reps anywhere from 10 to 15, making sure you're really feeling everything. Yeah, we put the weight on there, but at the same time, you want to be safe because you want to be able to compete and you want the longevity. So always pay attention to what your body's telling you to do.
All right, guys, first compound movement of the day, my absolute favorite, vertical press. Awesome machine from Arsenal Strength, by far my favorite. Most trusted piece of equipment that I've added into my arsenal about, 2 years ago or so. Definitely can attest for some of the upper quad thickness that I've gotten, and also the tissue that I've laid in my glutes and posterior. So awesome piece, hope you guys enjoy. So as you can see what I do with my foot position here, I got my feet kind of pronated outward. What that does for me is it's gonna allow my body to work the way it was intended to. Let my hips open up naturally and clear my skeleton here. Also, what I have my feet is on a kind of like an upward plane. I can't really tell in the camera, but the sled's actually angled. So that's already engaging my hamstrings, okay? So by putting the load up high, it's going to keep the concentration of the motion in my glutes. And then as I come to the top, I'm making sure that that is a directive movement and I'm squeezing, contracting my whole entire posterior. If you ever heard of the notion, you acquire a taste for it, these are movements that you need to kind of practice, acquire a taste for them per se. So as you train like this and learn these different, variables to add in, you need to play with them, learn your body, because everyone's different, everybody has a different skeleton. Once you learn that, it's gonna come second nature to you. So check it out, here we go. Alright guys, personal favorite of mine, It's a reverse hack squat, but what I've added is a variable of bands. These are, excuse me, 50 pounds resistance on each band. Keeps the tension in the motion the entire time. Like I said, you want to be directed with your movement. And at the top of the motion, I'm squeezing my glutes, but I'm not hyperextending my lower vertebrae like you see some people do to get that glute contraction. Doesn't need to be that dramatic, because that's when you're going to take it out of your glute, put it in your lower back, probably end up hurting yourself. So, directed movement towards the top, squeeze the glutes and squeeze the entire posterior. It's an excellent movement. All right, so what we're looking for here is that he's making sure that he's not just bending over to make the motion of the squat, that he's actually sinking his glutes down and then having this load in his glutes and hamstrings on that posterior chain, right? So another motion, when I was talking about, if you come in here closely, I'm looking for his directive movement up and squeezing of the glutes. Everything's tight there at the top of that motion. What I don't want him to do is hold on here at the top. I don't want to see his glutes pull in so hard that it's bringing his lower back lumbars in, okay? Because then it takes it out of the glutes, and where we're looking for the focus and brings it into our lower back, that's where injuries can happen, and that's what I was referring to previously in the video. So a lot of you might be familiar with straight leg deadlifts, usually done with a barbell, I guess you could say traditionally. I personally really like doing them with dumbbells. I feel like it really allows each person to work differently with their different skeleton, work with their body, you get a little bit more range of motion and a little bit more creative free motion, I guess you could say. What I like to also do is add in a 20-degree wedge. As you can see here, what this is going to do when you pronate your foot up here, this is engaging this back portion, which is your hamstring and glute, your posterior chain. You add that weight and that downward force with the weight, you're gonna get more of a contraction in the motion. Essentially, that's what we're looking to do out of every motion, is get the most out of it, most beneficial for the muscle. Something I like to do, touch upon real quick, is when I do my compound movements, or anyone's doing their compound movements, you're stuffing a bunch of blood, oxygen, a bunch of tension into a muscle, right? So I think that it's very, very important to stretch that muscle out, right? And redrain the blood and focus or attention, you know, out of the muscle, right? So what I like to do after my compound movements is do a stretch for the muscle, essentially. Still working and laying muscle fibers, but stretching the muscle, because that's a very important component of growing muscle that people neglect. Full range of motion, you need to work the whole muscle, not just parts of it. This is a very good exercise to stretch the muscle out after we hit two very, very heavy compound movements and put a lot of tension in the muscle. What are you doing? Get ready to finish up leg day like everybody else does, right? Weighted lunges down your driveway so you can't feel your legs anymore. Isn't that what everybody else does?
Isn't it like 95 degrees out here?
No, it's like 92. Howdy, neighbors. Come on. Motherfucker!
So that concludes leg day or what?
Right after this pussy's hit their sets, then it concludes leg day.